Hey everyone, welcome to Singularity Beast Upgrades Part 7. Now I know it's been an incredibly long time since I've made a Singularity Beast upgrade video. Recently I've had so many requests to make another one, so I've decided to get back to it and finish off the upgrades that I was intending to do to this system. I've actually decided to make this an ongoing series, so a permanent series for my channel. Any upgrades that I do to this system, I will make another Singularity Beast upgrade video, and that might include completely rebuilding this system, because I'll probably always call my primary system the Singularity Beast. And actually, one of the reasons I've waited so long to make another video is because I have huge plans for this system, and I was going to wait, for a massive rebuild, actually, until I made another video. But because I've had so many requests, I've decided to finish off the upgrades that I was intending to do, and then do the complete rebuild at another stage. So what I'm going to be looking at today is the dust filters on the rear radiator, the installation of those dust filters. So you saw in the previous videos the dust filters that I was going to try out, because I had some problems with previous dust filters that I tried. I'm also going to show the switch panel, the painting of the switch panel and the installation of the switch panel that I've decided on. And also yet another problem that I ran into actually with the EK backplates that I used on the graphics cards. So that's the three things that I'm going to be going over today. Actually, one other little thing that I've done to the system, I've replaced the sound card. I used to run an Asus Sonar D2X, and I've replaced it with a Sound Blaster X5 Titanium HD. You can just see it down there. I'm going to have a product overview of this sound card on my channel, so make sure you check that out for a good look at the sound card. So you can just see the back of it there. The reason I did this is because I'm always changing hardware around so I can review different products, and also I've got a lot of people buying hardware from me, so I actually had someone who wanted that sound card, so yeah, I thought I'd replace it with the X5 Titanium HD. You can see I've actually got two monitors disconnected at the moment, and I'm only running one screen because I normally run NVIDIA Surround at 5760 by 1080. It's because I've been playing a lot of Battlefield 3, and there's NVIDIA Surround problems with the game at the moment, so I'm just waiting for them to sort those out. Okay, it's time to have a look at how I went with the installation of these dust filters on the rear radiator. Okay, so I've just got my quad radiator off the back of the system here, and I'm in the process of installing the new dust filters. I'm very happy with the way they look. I think they'll be quite effective, and they fit perfectly, thanks to the fact that they have 7.5mm from the mounting hole to the edge here, which is perfect for radiators that have a 15mm gap between the mounting holes, which is standard. I had to mount that one underneath the coolant's adjustable radiator mount, which I didn't really want to do. I didn't want it to be squashed by the radiator mount because there's quite a lot of weight and pressure on it, and it is only a plastic filter. I would have preferred that the mount was against the radiator metal. So I've also got this sealing strip that I've put on here to stop the air from getting through around the edges and the dust, and it's made by Phobia. It's very easy to install. It's just got tape on the back of it, and you just peel the back off it and then whack it straight on, and it's the perfect size to fit around the edge of your radiator. I'm very happy with it. It's a type of foam, it's quite firm. Okay, so time to finish off installing these dust filters and get this radiator back onto the back of the system. Okay, all the dust filters are installed and the system is up and running. I'm very happy with the way it looks. It's definitely an improvement to the looks of the system. It just looks a whole lot cleaner. I'm very happy with this strip as well. I've had a look all the way around and it's sealed everything perfectly. It's extremely important to seal around the edges of the dust filters so that I don't get dust through the radiators under the dust filters, which I wouldn't even be able to see. Now, I was pretty unhappy about this. I've got all three of my backplates laid out here. Now, previously when I had my Tri-SLR GTX 480s, I tried to install EK nickel backplates on those as well, and I had problems with the backplates touching the back of the PCB on the graphics cards and actually shorting out the cards. Luckily, I picked it up early and it didn't do any damage to the cards. So when I installed these backplates, I was extremely careful about that. I had no faith in EK at all because of my past experience, and I was very hesitant about actually buying them in the first place, but I thought I wanted to top this rig off nicely and I really wanted to have these backplates installed. Anyway, the problem this time was quite different. So I have all the cards back in the system now. All three backplates have been removed and they're up and running. It's going to be a little bit difficult for me to explain what the actual problem was without you seeing it. I was going to film while I had the video cards apart and everything, but I just wanted to get the system back together and I ran out of time. But what was happening is the plates that you can see here, the dual slot input-output plates on the graphics cards themselves, they have a lip on the bottom of them. So obviously they join to the back of the video card. You can just see the top of one there, I think. And at the bottom, they're not flat. As I said, they've got a lip of about 2 millimeters, and what was happening is that lip was interfering with the backplate from the back of the card below it. So the lip of the input-output panel of the video card above was interfering with the backplate below, and it was forcing a slight bend in the PCB of the video card, and this bend was actually enough to cause the cards to play up. The screens were actually flickering. That was about it. The screens would just kind of flash on and off. It was obviously interfering with the DVI outputs that I was using. Anyway, it hasn't done any damage to any of the video cards, because seriously, the bend in the PCB was ridiculously small. I have no idea why it was having that kind of an effect. So unfortunately the backplates are gone. I don't really mind too much how it looks. It makes the build look a lot more black now, a bit less silver, which in a way is good. You can see overall it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. I would definitely prefer to have the backplates on, but not if they're going to be causing problems like that. There's a couple of things that I could do to fix the problem. I could cut 3mm off the end of each of the backplates. I could remove the lip from the input-output panel on the video cards. But seriously, with the amount of problems that I've had with EK backplates, I'd just rather not run them at all. I'm happy with the cards how they are. They're working beautifully now. Everything is perfect. You know, after all the problems that I've had with the faulty video card and now with these backplates causing more problems, I'm happy with the system the way it is now. Alright, I'm just out in the backyard in the full sun. It's boiling hot, about 30 degrees, and I'm just about to put the second coat of paint on the switch panel. So if you remember, this thing was very silver not too long ago, and I'm just painting it with matte black paint. Looking pretty good so far. I'll be putting it into the system tomorrow. Hopefully it matches up nicely. So there's my switch panel. I'm just about to install it. I'm quite happy with the silver vandal switches. It makes them stand out, because if they were black they would kind of just blend in to the surroundings and kind of disappear, I think. So silver's good. The matte black paint job, it's a bit rough. Actually, some of it peeled off the first time I did it, so I had to sand it all back and do it again. And that was just because there was some oils underneath the paint, obviously, just from people touching it too much. But I'm pretty happy with the way it's turned out, and once it's installed I don't think you'll be able to really see the rough patches, so looks good. Time to put it into the system. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my switch panel installed and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy with the way it looks. I like the blue vandal switches. You know, it matches up with the fan controllers that I'm running. But my paint job is fairly rough. I wish I had have just been able to get a black one in the first place, and instead of painting this one, because I had to, you know, some of the paint peeled initially and I had to sand it back. You can see it's rough along the top here, and that's because some of the paint stayed stuck down in there when I resprayed it. Anyway, you know, the rest of it looks pretty good, and you really don't notice that unless you like right up close. The problem now is, you know, after all the time that I put into painting it and getting it wired up and installed, like, you wouldn't believe the wiring that I had to do to get this thing running. This switch here on the right hand side is broken. Okay, it won't hold in. That one's fine, and this one worked for a little while, for like probably 10 clicks, and then that was it. It stopped working. So now I've got to pull it all apart again and resolder all the back of this and replace it with another one. So extremely annoyed about that. I'm just glad that the main lighting is connected up to this one, which I'll just show you right now. I've got the red LED strip back there, the blue LED strip down the bottom here, and the blue LED strip in next to the reservoir there. So there's 3 LED strips. So I'll just switch them off and give you a look. So basically what I use that for is when the system's idling, when I leave it on at night to upload YouTube videos or something like that, or when I'm gaming at night with the lights off. Yeah, it's just good to be able to switch them off. And I've got the LEDs just there, hooked up to the little switch, which is broken. So that's something else on the list that I need to do. There's 2 other little things that I neglected to mention. I decided to remove the UV cold cathodes because UV lights just don't look good with this particular system, this setup, and you know, this configuration. So I'm going to go with the LED strips only. That is all. So no cold cathodes, and that means I'm not installing that little aluminium inverter box which I was going to install. I've also installed another 2 terabyte hard drive, which is installed down there. It's a Western Digital Black SATA 3 drive. So I've now got 6 terabytes in this system, not including the SSD. What I intend to do now is finish off the upgrades, and all that I need to do that is, well, when I say finish off the upgrades, what I mean is finish off the upgrades that I currently have in mind for this system. There's always going to be upgrades, but all I have in mind for it at the moment, all I have to still do is install these 3 fans on the 360mm radiator in the top of the case. Installed the dust filters on those fans, which is the same dust filters that I used on the rear radiator. Installed new bolts, and that will be it. The system will be finished. Also, I need to repair the switch panel, which is really annoying, just so I can get those LEDs up and running. So I just have to basically replace the smaller, I think it's a 16mm Vandal switch on that switch panel to get that up and running, and that will be it. That will be the end of the upgrades that I currently have in mind for this system. So yeah, what I'm going to do as well is make a video and go over the complete specifications of this system, because I've had so many people ask me, you know, what fittings are you using, what reservoirs are you using, you know, so many questions. So yeah, I'm going to go over every little detail of this system, every single part. So there will be another like a Singularity Beast upgrade video dedicated to just talking about the specifications of this system. You know, every detail. Also what I've got the CPU running at, like the exact overclock settings that I'm using. The other thing is, I'm also going to run a whole bunch of benchmarks and do some overclocking and look at temperatures. And what I've decided to do is ask you guys, what benchmarks do you want to see me run? Okay, I'm only actually going to run the benchmarks that people ask me to run. So if you want to see a benchmark, ask for it in the comments and you will see it. Like that means anything, a particular game, you know. So yeah, if you want to see it, ask for it, and I'll put it in the performance, temperatures and overclocking Singularity Beast upgrade video that I've got coming up. So there it is. That's just some of the things that I'm going to do to wrap up the current upgrades to this system. Thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe, like and favorite if you want to see more.